As we've heard, the sage Octavia Butler says, all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Speak, God. I'll be, you speak. What is the lifespan of a human cell? Red blood cells have a lifespan of just 70 to 120 days, while white blood cells live on average more than a year. Skeletal muscle cells last around 15 years. Skin cells live about 2 or 3 weeks. Simply put, you, me, we are changing. Touch your hands. No, do it. Touch your legs. Gaze at your feet. Touch your face. And if you have hair on your head, touch your head. You are changing right now. Right now. In this very moment, you are changing. I've been studying physics, and one of the greatest lessons I've learned so far is that we are not special. We humans, we're particular maybe, but not special. We're ordinary. We, along with all other things that exist, are an ordinary part of an extraordinary, ever-expanding universe of which we know very little. This brings me to my true revelation. For all of our ordinariness, every action we take fundamentally changes everything around us forever. Some call this the butterfly effect. Science calls this quantum physics. The reality that everything that is interconnected in an inextricable web of mutuality. No, your actions don't just affect you. Your private conversations aren't harmless. Your private actions aren't private at all. Quite literally, every action we, me, you, take changes everything that is forever. Yes, little, insignificant me. You. Every note you play has changed the world forever. Every word you've spoken has changed the world forever. Every hand you've shaken has changed the world forever. Every step you've taken has changed the world forever. That is power. And when harnessed for control and domination, you, me, we become a cancerous growth, sickening the whole of creation. But when harnessed for liberation and expansion, oh, the glorious possibilities. Now, why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because every time you, me, we have said and say, things will never change. This is just the way things are. This is how we've always done it. Every time we utter these words or hold them in our hearts, we fundamentally deny the truth of our existence. We deny the truth of our power. We deny the truth of our purpose. To exist is to change. This truth is poetically presented by the sage Octavia Butler as she says, what everything you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. Oh my God, is change. The moment you, me, we begin to live our life as a revolt against change, the moment we get set in our ways, the moment we decide to make America great again, the moment this is the moment that we cease to live. It is the moment that we become the walking dead, feasting on the dreams of those fully alive, devouring hope and excreting despair, masking our fear of change within the comfort of tradition, religion, nostalgia, or so-called stability and security, all of which are nothing more than a front for our desire to hold on to a false sense of control. But listen close, my friends, and get free. Life isn't about arriving. It's not about knowing or control. No, sir, no, ma'am. Life is about exploration. It's about wondering. It's about participation. Participation with a universe that is quite literally expanding as we speak. To say it simply, the original stuff is literally expanding to make more stuff. You hear, I didn't say new stuff. I said more stuff. Yes, there's so much more than meets the eye, so much more to you, to me, to we. We live and participate in a society that consistently tells us we are powerless to change anything. A society that would rather crush us all into insipid and stale models of passivity and sameness. A society that is hell-bent on keeping us so busy trying to achieve something that we forget that we exist to exist. That we exist to be, not to become. Reverend Gabby and Andrew Wilkes, my neighbors living at the intersection of the gospel and justice, in their book, Songs for Black Lives, put it this way. An oppressive society can exact a strong psychological toll on the downtrodden, but it cannot erase our autonomy. It cannot keep us from designing and discovering a life of significance, meaning, and impact. Do me a favor. This is the participation part. Close your eyes with me. We're all safe here. I want you to imagine a world. You could wave a magic wand and immediately society could be what you want it to be. What would be there? Hear what I said. I didn't say what would not be there. I said what would be there. Imagine it. What does it look like? Imagine it. What does it smell like? Take it in. What are its sounds? Can you hear them? How does it taste? How does it feel? Sisters, brothers, siblings, our ability to create, offer, participate, and change is only limited to our own imaginations. You may open your eyes. Imagination is the ability to believe that something that is not can be. As a matter of fact, imagination is all around us. You drove here today in someone's imagination. You're wearing someone's imagination. You're reading someone's imagination. You're going to go and taste someone's imagination. Imagination is all around us. The question becomes, do you believe in the power of your imagination? Or will we simply be left to live in the imagination of Greg Abbott? Will we be left to live in the imagination of Joe Biden? Will we be left to live in the imagination of your city council person or your mayor? Will we be left to live in the imagination of your parents? Will we be left to live in the imagination of somebody who doesn't know you and love you? Someone who doesn't care for you? Will we be left to live in someone else's imagination? Or will we have the courage to imagine a world? Now that you've imagined this world, I have another question. This is a really good question. This is probably the best question. What's in the way? What stands between what is and what can be? That's a real question. This is the participation part. Write it down. Ponder it in your heart. Make a note in your phone. What's in the way? Look at it. Stare at it. Now, for my final question, and it's simple. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to jump the hurdles to get to the world that can be? Will you simply stand in front of the hurdle and say it's too high, I can't jump it? Will you simply stand in front of the problem and say it's too much, I can do nothing to change it? Will you simply stand in front of the blockade and say, well, I guess this is just the way things are, and who am I to say anything different? Will you stand in front of the bad policy and say it's too big for me? Who am I to say anything about it? Will you stand in front of the problems of this world and say, who am I? Insignificant me. What can I change? Well, my sisters and my brothers, I come to tell you that you have all the power. As a matter of fact, together we have more power than we have alone. And what if, I don't know, what if all of us decided today that change is possible? What if? What if, Jeanette? What if? What if every time something bad happens in the world and it broke your heart, you realize that change is possible? There was a day where there was no Roe versus Wade decision. And then there was one. And then there's a day where it is not. Change. There was a day when my ancestors, my black sisters and brothers, were held in chains, forced to work with no pay to build a country with no reparation. But one day we will get our reparation change. There was a day when women couldn't stand in a pulpit and proclaim any gospel, any good news. Change. There was a day when we couldn't conceive of a black man speaking to a white congregation. Change. What if, Jeanette? What if? What if we all decided, from the smallest to the biggest, from the youngest to the oldest, and everywhere in between, what if we decided that change was possible? What if we decided that change could happen? It would be hopeful for some and scary to others. Now, I don't want to step over fear, because fear is real. But the opposite of fear is love. And it is love that creates courage. We will not act if we're not motivated by love. See, fear paralyzes, love excites. Fear limits, love expands. Fear brings death and domination. Love brings life and liberation. I know love can be scary. Love causes us to open ourselves to what can be. Love offers the possibilities of both joy and heartbreak, glad tidings and mournful sorrow. But I'll take love over fear every day of the week, 2 times on Sunday. People gaze upon the change makers or troublemakers, if you will, and assume that we do this without fear. But no, ma'am, no, sir. We do this because our love for our people is stronger than our fear of death. Any death. Physical death or social death. The Archbishop Desmond Tutu and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in their collaborative work, An Epistle to the World, the Book of Joy, remind us that no dark fate determines the future. We do. Each day and each moment, we are able to create and recreate our lives and the very quality of human life on our planet. This is the power we wield. It doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're 17 or 75. If you still have breath in your body, change isn't through with you yet. So get involved. Get involved. Because you'll never be the same. You'll never be the same once you've heard these words. You'll never be the same once you shake one another's hands. You'll never be the same once you woke up this morning and drove to this place. You'll never be the same. And if you came here, then leave here and change something. You may have faith or be of no faith, but I'll offer you a gift today. For whatever you believe or don't believe, believe in change. Believe that nothing remains the same. And maybe, just maybe, that belief will help you become an active participant with it. All that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only constant is change. God is change. Go change the world.